Welcome to another video in Planton Cloud Essentials video series. In this video, we are going to see how you can add your own DNS domain and make your website accessible using your DNS domain easily using the features provided on Planton Cloud console. So first I'll outline the steps necessary to accomplish that goal and in fact define the goal itself, and then move on to showing you how to accomplish that goal on Planton Cloud console. So the current goal is for us to make the cookie store website that we have deployed in the previous video and make it accessible using pc-cookie-store.com, which is a DNS domain that I have purchased for the purposes of this particular product, which is common in most scenarios, right? Someone with an idea will purchase a domain from one of the domain name registrars at some point. So I did the same thing. I went to GoDaddy and purchased this domain the other day. Now I'm going to connect this domain to Planton Cloud so that Planton Cloud can make the website that got deployed using GitHub Actions on this domain. So the steps to accomplish this goal are adding pc-cookie-store.com DNS domain to Planton Cloud, delegate the DNS by updating name servers on GoDaddy, link the DNS domain to cookie shop product that we have created on Planton Cloud, and then redeploy the website so that the website becomes available on this new domain that we are trying to add it. Wait for the deployment job to complete and then finally verify. So let's get going with these steps. Now I'm on Planton Cloud console. So the first step to do here is make sure you are in the right company context. DNS domains are also added at company level. Even when you are on product context, it's all right, but make sure the product that's in the context belongs to the company to which you are trying to add the DNS domain to. Just to make sure, I'm selecting the company instead of product, and I click DNS domains. Because there is no DNS domains right here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add it. Before I add it, let's go to godaddy.com. I logged in and I see that pc-cookie store has been purchased. Now let's go back to Planton Cloud and delegate the DNS name management to Planton Cloud itself. Instead of GoDaddy managing the DNS domain, Planton Cloud is also capable of doing the same thing. So we are going to type the name of the domain, cookiestore.com, and here you have to choose a Google Cloud account to create that DNS name server. Either you can have your own GCP account added to your company and you could have chosen that. But because this company doesn't really have any GCP accounts connected to it on Planton Cloud, it is possible to choose a Planton provided GCP cloud account. Click on add. And once you add the DNS domain, you can click on view details to see the details of the DNS domain. Right now, there are no name servers for us to delegate it yet, but within a few, like in less than a minute, we should see name servers populated. So as soon as we add the DNS domain, Planton Cloud will begin the process of creating this new name server for us. Within like couple minutes, we should see this. So the next step is to copy each of these values, go to GoDaddy and the name servers management. So right now we are using default name servers, so we change them and we want to use our own, and we are going to enter the 4 name server records provided to us on Planton Cloud. So each of this is E1, E2, E3 and E4. So we click on save and we accept the confirmation. So the request is in progress. Usually the DNS propagation is touchy. Sometimes it takes effect immediately. Sometimes it takes a while, and at times it takes more than a day. But in most cases, the DNS delegation happens in like less than 5 minutes. So you can check the status of whether or not DNS has propagated, meaning the change that we made on GoDaddy. If the change has propagated over the internet and the delegation is actually succeeding, then we should see this as passing. As we have noticed, while we were talking, there is a background check that's happening on the DNS, and as soon as these name servers are resolving for this domain, we see the check to be passing, which is awesome. Like, it took less than 5 minutes. All right, looks like the DNS has successfully propagated for us. So just like the way we added a record on GoDaddy, it is also possible to add records from here. Instead of test 1, 2, 3, I'm going to give test 4, 5, 6, and the record type is this, and I'm going to give 9876 and click on add. So what happens is, this is very similar to how we added the record on GoDaddy. So we should be able to take this record, do a deg for a record, and we see that the record that we inserted on Planton Cloud console is now reflecting. So the DNS domain delegation is successful. Now our original goal for us was, we want to access the DNS website that we have deployed yesterday in dev environment. We don't want to access the website on pc.rocks, which is a Planton provided DNS domain. Instead, we want to access this using a DNS domain that is purchased by us, right? So at this point, we can close the GoDaddy tab. So here are the steps to delegate, make sure the website is accessible on this new domain. So what we are going to do is, we are going to create what is called a standard endpoint. So we click create, and we want to add it only for dev environment, and the DNS domain that we want to add it is pc-cookie-store.com. This is the domain that we want to add to the environment. As you can notice, an ID, human readable identifier, is assigned for the standard endpoint, and all standard endpoint identifiers begin with SCP, followed by the environment to which this endpoint is being created, and followed by normalized DNS domain. First, we will try without using SSL, and eventually we'll also add SSL. We are going to create this endpoint, and then now that we have added this endpoint, what we are going to do is, we are going to go and rerun the pipeline on GitLab to see if the change takes effect. That's all we need to do. So we go to source code, we go to the website on GitHub, website repository, and we want to rerun the previous pipeline. So we can go to deploy, and we want to rerun this job. Or even if you make another commit, however, whatever the trigger could be, as long as the deployment gets re-executed, we should see that the website becomes available on the domain that has been configured. So now that the deployment on GitHub is successful, let's see if the website is still accessible on this URL. it is still accessible on this URL. And because we have not enabled SSL yet, we want to make sure we use it on HTTP instead of HTTPS. So cookie-store.com, this is the DNS domain, and because we have not enabled SSL, we want to see if there you go. See how quickly we were able to just get our website working without really making any changes whatsoever. Again, no ops is how we want things to be. One of the best features on Planton Cloud is the automatic DNS. So what happened was, as soon as we added this DNS domain to our dev environment of web shop product, we automatically see that Planton Cloud has updated the IP addresses for this DNS domain. So this is the cool thing about Planton Cloud. The DNS system on Planton Cloud is reactive, so it reacts to the events that happens across your environments. Now we want to also add SSL to our website. So what you can do is, we go to the standard endpoints by clicking on endpoints. We want to now make change to this endpoint and enable SSL. So we click on enable SSL. Now that we have enabled SSL, we have to wait for the certificates created. In a few seconds, we should see new certificates show up here, and we'll also see whether those certificates are in ready status or not. So right now we see that certificates have been created, but those are still not in ready status. Again, Kubernetes is what powers the whole thing behind the scenes. So if you are familiar with Kubernetes, some of these constructs are very familiar to you as well. So we are still waiting for the certificates to be provisioned. It takes about 5 to 10 minutes for the certificates to become ready. So let's wait. At this point, 2 of the 4 certificates have been provisioned. So we still have to wait for 2 more certificates to become into ready status. So let's wait. Already in less than 5 minutes, the certificates have come into ready status. Now that the certificates are in ready status, we can simply go and refresh the page. We still see that PC Rocks is working, and at this point we want to access the website using HTTPS, and that's it. SSL is enabled. Planton Cloud is by far the best platform out there that makes all of what we have accomplished in this video possible in like less than 5 minutes.